classy Neuvillette will judge your enemies, and today I'm gonna tell you how to build him best. My name is Juice, and let's get into it. So what artifacts does our Judge of the Seas desire? None other than 4-piece mayonnaise hunters. A classic. Mr. Settle Down has some insane inbuilt HP loss mechanics, so he'll be able to stack up the crit rate wonderfully. The 2-piece increasing charge attack damage is also a treat. Easily his best in slot set. You don't have much reason to choose anything else. 4-piece Heart of Depth works by technicality, however Hunters is far more consistent while offering stronger buffs. If you somehow have a 100% crit rate already, then sure, this is a good pick, but it's pretty much always going to be better to utilize the free stats that Hunters provides. 2-piece mix and match sets include 2-piece HP percent, yes, putting 2 HP percents together will be his best in slot 2-piece combo, Hydro percent, and charge attack percent. As for Neuvie's main stats, simple, go for HP percent, crit percent. Because of our gorgeous Lady Farina, Shieldon, and Kazuha all being in his best team, you get a crud ton of damage bonus percent buffs. Therefore, it actually becomes better to use an HP percent goblet. Don't worry if your Hydro Goblet is really busted, because as you can see, a 5% increase is nothing to lose any sleep over. However, it's still a fact that's there. For the record, if you aren't using both Shieldon and Kazuha in the same team alongside Farina, then Hydro percent becomes his best in slot again. However, 4-piece Cinder City combined with a range of 30 to 40% damage bonus from Kazuha, alongside with all of Farina's buffs, makes for more than enough damage bonus percent in the Water Lizard's kit. This is not even mentioning his A4, which provides inbuilt Hydro damage bonus percent. If you have Neuvie's signature weapon, Tome, which can juice you up with a crud ton of crit damage, then an HP percent circlet paired with a Hydro percent goblet can also become viable. Hunters covers you in terms of crit rate, and because Tome gives you so much crit damage, an HP circlet becomes viable. It's not a huge difference, and might not be worth the extra hassle. It's more so an option if you happen to have a crazy HP percent circlet lying around. As for substats priority, simple, go for this. Damage is valued higher than rate due to 4-piece Hunters, however both are very important to get. HP percent is excellent on him too. When it comes to ER, okay, so Celestia Killer is what I call his best in slot team with Neuvillette, Farina, Kazuha, and Shilonen, with Vape being himself, Shangling, Kazuha, and Shilonen. What's important about his burst is not the damage it does, but rather the blue balls that it generates. If you have enough damage to clear a chamber using his burst and skill twice, you can ignore ER. If you need to burst more than that because you aren't getting enough blue balls, then you have to build ER. However, most of the time you won't have to focus on it much as you will usually have your skill to rely on for quick blue ball generation. TLDR, ER isn't that important on him. Don't sweat it too much unless you specifically need to use his burst a lot in a particular case. It becomes even less of an issue if you use Fav on the likes of Kazuha, Shilonen, or Lady Farina. Do know that the damage his burst does can actually be pretty good in his Vape teams. You can get about 200k with it there, so in those cases ER will matter a bit more. You haven't much reason to use anything other than Hunters. It's his best in slot by such a considerable long shot. It's in a great domain while being easy to farm, so go get it as soon as you can. Which tools does this judge require in order to spread justice throughout the lands? None other than Tome of the Eternal Flow. This fella is Neuvie's best in slot choice, as it was completely tailor-made for him. A crud ton of crit damage to accompany the rate that you're already getting from Hunters, along with some free HP percent. He gains a sizable bit of charge attack percent too, along with some free energy to aid his blue ball generation. Of course, a fantastic option for him. Sacrificial Jade will actually be his second best in slot. It's pretty crazy how amazing this Battle Pass option is on him. It simply provides a crud ton of HP percent in its passive and plenty of crit rate. Just make sure that you're not overcapping on rate when using this along with 4-piece Hunters. A crit damage circlet is advisable when put along with this pick. Surf's Up is excellent on him too, however that's mostly because of the massive crit stick which is equal to Tome alongside the HP percent stick in the passive. He can't utilize the normal attack percent buffs. This will be worse than an R1 Sack Jade, but if you're somebody who happened to lose to this weapon, then yes, it will be good on Neuvillette. While you can use Solar Pearl, I'm not sure why you would ever want to choose this over Sack Jade. Lost Prayer works too if you found yourself with one, but be aware that it's pretty much only a crit stick. The passive won't do much for him, and once again, because it's a rate weapon, make sure that you're not overcapping on crit rate. Use a damage percent circlet here. Cash Flow's high base attack is very wasted on Neuvillette, but the main idea of this choice is that you get a bit of crit out of it alongside with some charge attack percent for every time the Water Lizard has his HP go up or down. It works on him, but it's barely better than his free-to-play options. With one of those being Prototype Amber, you use it for the HP. Full stop. It's a great craftable which is highly accessible to all and will actually be his strongest budget option. It's unironically as simple as that. The passive does nothing for his damage, but if you want to cope, then sure, it might give you a little additional fanfare, plus some extra energy to help with more bursts, which equals more blue balls. Other HP sticks like Jadefall Splendor and Everlasting Moonglow will work fine too. And while Widsif works, the potential to land the attack percent buffs does drag it down quite a bit. Certainly not a bad option by any means, but Piamber will be more consistent. Don't feel intimidated by how low his budget options are on this list. Even on those, he will crush the entire world beneath him. His higher end weapons are simply higher quality. I mean, wow, no way, but that doesn't mean that he won't be dishing out the end of the world when put on a Piamber. I'd say it's a win-win situation, since his free-to-play numbers are incredible while also presenting you with the chance to increase his numbers by an insane amount via good 5-star weapons. So, who shall be the jury to support this almighty judge? None other than the Celestia Killer Squad. This is his best installed team archetype without question. I call them this because Shilunin was a Neuvillette buff that will allow him to end the divine ordination of Teyvat itself. It's a pretty simple team functionally. Our gorgeous Lady Furina provides us all with a juicy damage bonus percent, and Neuvillette benefits from it splendidly. You see, he is actually one of her best synergies because he drains and loses HP very quickly, meaning that he's able to max out fanfare very fast on his own. Yes, even down at C0 Furina, he's able to cut down on the buff's backload by quite a significant margin, so naturally they are excellent partners in crime mechanically. Don't worry about losing a stack of Draconic Glories, as Furina's buffs are more worth utilizing as opposed to that missing stack. Kazuha is our tried and true damage bonus percent buffer. His role is pretty self-explanatory here, while also providing some neat 4VV res shred. Then you bring in the darn cat. More damage bonus percent for the entire team with 4-piece Cinder City, along with a wild amount of res shred that has an excellent amount of uptime that can stack on top of Kazuha's buffs. By the way, this is all not mentioning the fact that our C2 allows this team to literally break the fabric of reality itself. Thank you so much, Hoyoverse, we really needed another Neuvillette buff. Finally, he's playable now, I'm relieved. This is the grand quadruple which will end the entire game for you faster than you can say Oratrice. You can replace Shilunin with Cinder Kachina, but in order to keep the Celestia Killer team archetype, Furina and Kazuha have to stay. Back to reality, you can slot Fischl in place of Furina if you really care about the final Draconic Glory stack, or if you simply don't have our beloved lady yet. Zhongli works as a fine final slot too if you don't want to use Kachina or Shilunin due to wanting an additional layer of defensiveness. Vape Neuvillette, while it may be difficult to play, is a very strong team which is favored by more hardcore players. If you want to go the extra mile in terms of gameplay with this guy, then these teams happen to be very rewarding. Yet again, another place in which the Cat DJ has found herself. National team variants work with him too, and you're still getting plenty of vapes in. However, C1 is more valuable here because Furina isn't being used to compensate for the loss of a Draconic Glory stack, so this team becomes a lot better for him at Dolphin investment. Hyperbloom Neuvillette is an interesting case where EM Raiden has to be used, due to the ranged nature of his attacks. This is far from being one of his strongest teams, however, it is a fun synergy because it offers a somewhat different way to play Hyperbloom. Ranged Hyperbloom, if you will. Bloom works too, but honestly, he's already very AoE friendly within all of his other teams, so this just feels a bit overkill. But yes, it will work, however, you're not really making the most out of him here. Taser teams got a buff recently due to the buffs that the reaction got in general, along with Autodon bringing 4-piece Cinder City into Taser. Once again, thank you for the 82nd Neuvillette buff this year, Hoyo. Dual carry teams of Navia exist too, which have actually become more fun with the likes of a DJ Cat. For example, a team of himself, Lady Furina, Shilunin or Kachina, and Navia. It's not the strongest way to play either of them, but it's a fun type of team that does in fact work. Freeze works too, as if you stick Charlotte at the end of his team, then you can use her Crow application to constantly freeze enemies as you blast away with Neuvillette. This team isn't as good as it used to be because using Cinder Kachina is just a better 4-star alternative now. However, it mechanically functions just fine and remains as a fun synergy to use, which can still be very useful in situations where you'd like the crowd control. If you have 0 limited 5-star characters, then a team of Fischl, Sucrose, and 4-piece Cinder City Kachina will serve you just fine until you can manage to pull for some new fellas. Avoid proc-based units such as Yelan and Xingqiu, because essentially all of his damage will be dealt via his extended charge attack. That can't proc rain swords or spy dice, so the synergy isn't going to work out. He has 50 billion team options. Chances are, you will be able to form something with what you have on your account, assuming that you've been playing and pulling on banners for at least 3 months. If not, then he's a fantastic first 5-star to get because of the sheer range of units that he's able to work with. If you'd like to ask about a more specific team synergy that I didn't mention here, then comment down below and I'll tell you how well or badly it works. Yet how does this esteemed gentleman work? Well, his normal attacks deal 3 simple strikes of Hydra damage while he screams with extreme passion. They don't do much on their own, but he sounds really funny when he does them. This has never gotten old to me. What matters a lot more is his charge attack. He'll blast enemies in front of him with a crazy hydro pump. This is where the main meat of his kit lies. If his HP is above 50% when he uses this, he will keep losing HP until he drops down to said 50%. This happens very fast, making him an ideal fanfare generator. He's actually able to completely sustain fanfare generation on his own because of this. When he charge attacks, he will absorb nearby source water droplets. We're calling these blue balls. The blue balls will massively cut down the time it takes for him to charge up his hydro pump, while also healing back the HP that he loses from doing his charge attack. Yes, this guy self-sustains too. The fun just never ends, huh? Anyways, they are very important, but where do they come from? Not Hydro Traveler. Please don't use Hydro Traveler with him. No other character, aside from Siegewing, can generate these as of now, but I'm begging you to not use Hydro Traveler. For whatever reason, they only give this ability to the 3-star characters of Genshin. A much more reliable source would be his skill. He'll do a short little blast of Hydro damage which generates 3 of them near an enemy. You have to hit an enemy in order to generate the balls. Then you have his burst, which will generate 6 blue balls regardless of whether you hit an enemy or not. It'll also deal a good bit of Hydro damage, but damage isn't why you care about his other abilities. It's all in the balls. As for his Ascension passives, simple. His A1 has his Wild Charge attack deal a crud ton more damage if any of your teammates trigger any of the listed specific reactions. Assuming C0 and his best installed Celestia killer team, you're more likely to get only 2 stacks of this since Neuvillette and Farina aren't going to be causing any specific reactions themselves. Excellent stuff, but don't avoid using Lady Farina with him because of this. Her buffs matter more than the final glory stack. As for his A4, he'll gain plenty of hydro damage bonus percent from this. Excellent A4, but because of all the damage percent buffs that you'll be getting in his best installed teams, you might want to even consider an HP percent goblet. Very good passives that tie together his kit splendidly. As for talent priority, simple, go for this. You know how Genshin has those crown them abilities? Bennett's Burst, Shangling's Burst, Farina's Burst, dang, a lot of burst. Break that chain by crowning Neuvillette's normal attack. It's so worth it, especially because you can simply leave his skill and burst down at level 6. Use those saved resources to crown the lad's best ability. Trust me, you won't regret it. Prioritize his normal attack fully as that's where his charge attack skillings lie. The other abilities don't matter much because you're mostly using them for their blue balls, which talent levels don't affect. It'd still be fine to level them a little bit for some small extra damage. My recommended talent layout for this guy is 10-6-6. Court proceedings aren't cheap, so let's talk Constellations. This will allow you to access his A1 fully, even when using Farina alongside him. Very nice increase to his damage. He's ranged by nature, so the additional interruption res isn't massive or anything like that, but the QOL is welcomed. You get a crud ton of extra crit damage from this, and stacked on top of his C1, it's a brilliant C2, especially because of all the rate that you're getting from 4-piece hunters. A splendid damage increase. Increasing his normal attack by +3 is going to bring about the second end of Fontaine. Dude does 1 charge attack and it's over for everyone! Fantastic C3. This helps with his blue balls generation. It's more nice quality of life than anything else since you wouldn't have been struggling with blue ball generation in the first place anyway, but this does mean you can ignore his burst a lot easier now, therefore allowing you to trade his ER in for more offensive HP percent or crit based stats. His C5 is kind of useless because you don't really care about his burst that much anymore. This is obviously a good C6, so instead I'll talk about how it fares in the current whale meta. While Mualani is dominating the scene right now, the big benefit of Neuvillette C6 is that it's super easy to use. There's some amazing C6s out there, such as C6 Ganyu, which are literally insane, but only with the correct execution. The Water Lizard has no such weaknesses. You can just kinda go and be done. So if you want a super simple C6 to operate, then this is not a bad way to go. In terms of Primogem based investment with this guy, you want to get his signature first, then C1. But if you have a highly refined Sac Jade, go for C1 first, then his signature. Then get however many constellations that you'd like because they're all freaking crazy. Farina constellations are a splendid way to buff him up even further, and Shielan C2 is one of the first huge character-based forms of HP percent buffing that we've gotten ever since C4 Yelan. He'll break the game already at C0 R0, but if you want to go that extra mile for him, then you will certainly be more than impressed. Neuvillette will always be good. Hoyo accidentally buffs him every other freaking patch, and even if stronger DPSs come out after him, will they ever match his ridiculous smash head on keyboard ease of use? I think very highly of this character, and I wholeheartedly recommend that you build him if you're interested in conquering this game by simply holding down a single button. Peak DPS, his strength is basically unmatched. And because you've watched this far, I'm gonna assume that you like my videos. First of all, thank you very much. Second of all, I have a neat little thing to announce. I'll be opening a Zenless Zone Zero YouTube channel. I'll make a little community post about it later, but I also felt like it'd reach a good chunk of you if I put it at the end of this video. The reason I'm doing this is simple. I finished all of the main story, and it's one of the best gacha game experiences that I've ever had. However, there's much less interest in ZZZ compared to Genshin, Honkai Star Rail, and Wuthering Waves, so I thought I'd move it all to another channel. Quick warning, the content is probably gonna be very casual stuff, like talking about story, characters, other cool things that I like about the game, etc. Literally just whatever's on my mind. I already have some video ideas which I will be putting out soon. I will delve into shuji pulls and character guides when I become more confident with the game's meta. I do plan to at some point, but as of now I'm gonna keep building my game experience before I do so. Genshin, Honkai Star Rail, and Wuthering Waves will be staying here. And please, only subscribe to that second channel if you're willing to watch some silly, casual ZZZ content, because it's much better for the algorithm to have active subscribers as opposed to dead ones. As for this style of videos, I don't think they're gonna be anywhere near as tightly scripted as the ones here, but we'll see. It's just something that I want to try for fun, and I wouldn't expect daily uploads from there because I already try maintaining daily uploads here, but expect at least one video a week over there. So yeah, if you're a ZZZ fan, head on over and subscribe. Link will be in the description and pinned comment. Hopefully this video was able to get your Neuvillette washing his enemies' lives away. This has been Juice, signing out. A Neuvillette likes all types of water, right? How about warm water?